Hello, my name is Eric Sharp, and I'm going to go through the process in which to put together a computer. Let's get started with the case. Before you start putting in the chip, make sure you have either a wrist static, anti-static case thing, and a static wrist pack. What is this? What you do is you attach it to anywhere onto the case. So that way any static that gets on you will be dispersed into the case. Also make sure you do that. You also have this so that way when you put the chip in, you don't fry it by some static electricity and then there goes your chip. So get one of these, or constantly touch the case all your time so that way you get rid of all the static when you touch your board and stuff. Okay, to insert the chip and seat it is you take this rod here. Let me see if I can get closer here. Okay, you're going to first open up in order to put the chip in. And still keep it still in the case here until you're actually ready to open it and stick it in here. You're going to unlatch here, push down on this, and then release it. I'm going to lift it up, remove the top part here. Save this in case you need to return it. Okay, I'm going to lift it up. Take the chip itself. Only hold it on the edges right here. And before I stick it in, you'll notice that there are notches in here. There is a notch on this side and a notch on this side, as well as an arrow. There's an arrow over on here. Now this arrow corresponds to the arrow that is down here. Okay? And when you stick it in, you're going to hold on either side. Only touch the slight edges where there's a notch there. And when you're going to seat it, you're going to pull it straight down. You're not going to go at an angle, you're going to go straight down. Just lightly drop the chip in, like that. And the notches on either side here will fit. And you push this down. And it's going to do a little bit, it's going to be a little tough to pull it down. Make a little bit of noise, and then there it is. And that's it. I'm going to take the heat sink here and the fan. This already has thermal paste on it, so I'll punch it in that way. I'm going to have it sit on here nicely. See how it sits on there? And you're just going to push it down, straight down through till it pops. Then you're going to do the opposite side on here. You're going to do the opposite side on this side over here. Push down. Okay. And then do this side here. You're going to do kind of like a star pattern. And then do the other side. Okay. So now that you've pushed these both all down in the star pattern. Look in the bottom of the board. Make sure they're all four stuck in there like that. You see the little nodules here? And they stick out like that. That means it's secure. The chip is secure. Okay. And then attach this over to where it says CPU fan here. Attach it over here. The only way you can attach it is a little nodule here. And there you go. Alright. Now you're going to put in the motherboard. You see these notches in here. This is where the motherboard is going to be on top of. In the box there should be one of these. This is the back plate. Figure out the direction the back plate's going to be, and then put the back plate over here. Stick this, fix it in there, and it'll flip in like so. There you go. You gotta give it a little bit of pressure to throw it in. Okay, that's the back plate there. So let's just take that and just push it in from the back first before you put it in the motherboard. Else you will not be able to get this in. So just firmly, but very gently, because it's very breakable, to stick it in. Show this better. See the holes in here correspond to these little nods here. They're sticking out right here. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, the motherboard goes in where the notches are. Preferably making sure it's towards the back. This is where the back plate you just made goes towards the back plate there. And gently stick the motherboard in. Make sure you see all 6 of the spaces there. They should be sticking out nicely within the back. Make sure you push it in so you see all 6 of them sticking out, which means you have to firmly move it to the back so that way they are sticking out back here. Okay, now you'll take screws and screw them in. Okay, now let's screw these in. You need a Phillips head for this particular build. You use the small screws like this, the tiny ones. Stick it on there. Okay. Screw it in nice, snug, but not too tightly in case you do have to take it out and you don't take the other screws out with it. And you keep screwing them in, all 6 of them. Well, 8 of them at this point. Okay, once you have now screwed in, motherboard in, and it's secure, you'll take the wires from the fans and stick it into the motherboard, being sure that the nodules fit. The motherboard goes in. The fan nodule right here. We're going where there's a nodule right here. When you stick it in, that nodule will fit into that nodule. Okay, I'm now going to seat the Vengeance cards, or the memory cards. There are 4 spots for these. The blues and blues correspond to the dual channels, so make sure that you, if you have only 2, that you're going to do it either in the 2 blues or the 2 blacks. According to this, you should probably do the 2 blues first on this particular board, but you have to look and see where the A's and B's are for it. These will have a notch. I don't know if you see the notch here. There's a notch right here that will correspond to the notch right here. It will not fit down the wrong way, so you can't really put it in the wrong way. You just lightly stick it in here, push this out. Some have 2 on either side, one has 1. And you will slip it in here. And then push down firmly but nicely until it clicks. And there you go. Careful not to touch the metal parts down at the bottom. And you're going to sit in here. Be careful with the notches. Slip it in. Push it down. Hear a click. And there we go. 2 down. For me, 2 more to go, depending on how many you want. Notches right there. Slip it in. Push down. There's the click. And for me, one last one. These are the heat spreaders on it. Very cool looking heat spreaders there. Take it and push it down very firmly. Then wait for it to click. And there we go. And that's all there is to it. It'll fit in here like this. So it will have to go into, looks like the second hole here. I'll unscrew these 2 here. So I need these holes to be open for the outside. Take the screw off. Alright, and you see how these are right back here. And now you're taking these 2 out because that's where the card has to go into. And all you do is lift it up and these come out very easily. And then, okay, be sure you take everything off of this card that has any plastic on it. And then going to lower this on here. I'll see it very nicely. This will seat perfectly fine in here. Firm it in, and you'll hear a click as you heard it. Do as you did before is screw these screws back into the hole so that way it will stay into it. Okay, make sure you have to push this in probably a little bit just to get these screws into the space it's supposed to go. And you can see from the back we have the ports right there. Okay, now we need to attach the power supply to the rest of the board. Power supply. This part of the power supply goes out. This one happens to go on the bottom. Okay, and then there's a little notch that kind of sticks out there. You stick it in there. Fits in very nicely. Right? Goes under the bottom with a lot of modules and modular. What you need to find, the first one is the one that attaches as that size. And there's a little notch here, and there's a notch on the other side of this motherboard. There's a little click in there, so you just push it down and then click. Attach these two to the power supply. Okay, so that's it. It's a big, huge, gigantic one, but you have to put that in to power the motherboard. Now you'll need to use one to power this guy here. So you look for a PCIe. Now, since this only is a 3, and this only has 3 here, you don't need the fourth one. So just push that back, and then just attach this in. And you'll hear a click. Same thing with the second one. Since you need 2 of these. You'll throw it in there. And then wait for the click. Okay. And then you attach this to the power supply. Take this out and show you where they go. Right there. And there. And then these 2 here. Going to this one here. And you feel a click. To attach the hard drives, alright, the side that has these parts here sticking out, there and there, goes this way, so this one faces the front. This one you have to attach parts onto this. You push it out like this. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll sit there and pull it out. Careful with this because the wire is for fan in there. And the screws will go correspond to here. See the 3 things here, attached with the 2 holes here. So only 2 of them will be attached, the third one will be sticking out. So you'll slip it in like that. Take the long screws, attach it to this. So you may have to raise it up in order to find the hole. And it will eventually get in there. Alright, I'll demonstrate putting another hard drive in. Again, this will slide in. And you'll take screws and stick them in the little holes here. And make sure the screws fit with holes there and there. Generally, if you push it all the way in, you will have the screws be able to go all the way in there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you this so that way when it goes into the case you'll see a little bit easier. There's a notch right here, and there's a notch right here on the power supply one, and you'll attach it onto this, that, and then the other side we'll attach it into the power supply. Okay, the one part that's confusing the most is what do you do with all this stuff that comes from the front of the board. Now usually it will attach to this part right here. But to figure out where you're going to put all that stuff is very confusing. So luckily they give you, and let's see if we'll show it on here, something like this. They'll attach all the stuff onto it. Hard drive LED. And there. Power. Is the power LED. The reset power. Here is there. It's reset button for the front. Back. You have the speakers, the audio. There are 4, and they go into there. Then you attach this entire thing down onto this here. And this only goes one way because you'll have only these spaces here that can fit in, and there's only so many pins that fit in this way. This particular board has the 3.0 connectors in front that I was explaining to you. So in here is the 3.0 connector right here. This is from the front of the board, front of the computer. And you'll stick it in there, and there's a notch right here. And there's a notch down in here. And that only goes into where the notch is. This will connect the motherboard to USB parts to the front of the computer. Now you need to attach the hard drives to the motherboard, and you have the SATA connectors. This one's in kind of this way, so you just connect it into here. This also has a notch right there, and it only goes one way onto the hard drive notch there. The other thing we need is power to the hard drives. This was the SATA connector that connected to the board. It connects into this way, and it only goes in one direction because of the notch that's there. Same thing goes with the power supply. Power supply part goes into here also. It goes into the big one. And it only can fit because it is also the same little notch that's also in there. And we do the same thing inside here. And you hear the click. Now you need to mount the screws onto the power supply. So we'll maintain where it is. There'll be 4 screws that came with your power supply. Now some power supplies will be mounted at the top. Some power supplies will be mounted at the bottom, depending on what case you get. Alright, switch it on, and power it on. and it's powered on. And it works. Now attach to a monitor and see how it connects. Okay, so you turn on the computer, and as soon as you see the BIOS, you now have a working computer. And you'll see this, which means you need to install your operating system. And your computer works. And here's the computer in full form. All lit up and working. Thank you for watching, and hope this helped in building your new computer. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.